Welcome to the announcement of the projects that will be built under the Affordable Newark, the $20 million housing initiative targeted for Newark families earning $32,000. I am Allison Ladd, and I serve as the Deputy Mayor for Economic and Housing Development here in the city of Newark. Today is a time of celebration, and as my mom would say, it's a time to mark a milestone. So as each of us works to advance Newark forward under Mayor Baraka's leadership and our council's leadership, we must pause today to celebrate the mayor's largest investment in affordable housing for residents at 30% of AMI. This is $20 million for housing for the residents of Newark. So today we're celebrating the production, preservation, and protection of housing for Newark families earning $32,000. It's not $60,000, it's not $80,000. This day is all about our families here in the city of Newark. So Mayor Baraka, in your words, this is Newark Forward. So as we begin, we'd like to call a few people up to the podium to speak about the impact of the Affordable Newark program. First, I'd like to call on Vivian Cox-Frazier. Vivian Cox-Frazier is the president and CEO of the Urban League of Essex County. This is one of the oldest and largest affiliates of the National Urban League. So not only is Vivian a distinguished corporate and civic leader, she has led the Urban League of Essex County through a period of growth and revitalization. So I've heard Vivian often speak about how we have a way to have a power of home ownership, the power of partnership with our nonprofit and community development corporations. So I'm looking forward to your words today to continue to inspire us. So as Vivian comes to the podium, please know that the Urban League of Essex County is among one of the development partners that was selected under the Affordable Newark program. Vivian?
Good morning, everyone. It's a wonderful day for affordable housing. It's a wonderful day to be in the South Ward. It's a wonderful day to be in the city of Newark. So the mission of the Urban League movement is to enable African Americans and other underserved urban residents to secure economic self-reliance, parity, power, and civil rights. The Urban League of Essex County executes our mission through program services, bridge building, and advocacy. Our programs range from early childhood programs, youth development, housing and financial capability, workforce development, seniors, and community and housing development. We need affordable housing for families. The average income in Newark is around $34,000. These projects are projects for the average Newark resident. I'd like to say it again. It's for the average Newark resident. Every day, families come to the Urban League who are facing eviction or in some type of housing crisis. Kalisha, a young mother who works in retail, struggles to provide stable housing for herself and her 2 children. It's not that she mismanages her money. It's that she doesn't make enough to pay for ever-increasing rents in Newark. The person most likely to be evicted is Kalisha, a single Black mother with children. Funding projects for families making around $32,000 a year fills a critical need in our community. And these projects only happen with the leadership and significant subsidy from government. Thank you, Mayor Baraka, Deputy Mayor Ladd, Newark City Council, and members of the Housing and Economic Development Department for putting the resources together into Newark's neighborhoods and meeting the housing challenge facing our residents. Our project, Fairmont Commons, is being developed in conjunction with our partner, RPM, and I see Rich Martaglio is here. We will be developing 154 units of mixed income, mixed-use housing across 4 sites. The project includes a mix of 1, 2, and 3-bedroom units, a ground floor early childhood education center, and ground floor commercial space. The project will be 100% affordable. The ground floor childhood education center and commercial uses will fill a critical need in the community for affordable rental and high-quality childcare and will help to activate the existing streetscape. Phase 2 of the project is for home ownership and is comprised of the construction of 28 2- and 3-family homes that will begin in 2023. Tremendous resources have been required to address housing insecurity during the pandemic. And New Jersey has led the nation with programs and policies that protect vulnerable homeowners and renters. We may be past the peak of the pandemic, but the economic toll it left on families, along with rising inflation, has so many struggled to keep the roof over their heads. These investments made by the city in housing affordability, stability, and security lay a foundation that helps the average family, like my family. My mother was a nursing assistant, my father was a roofer, or even the bus driver, or the essential workers that have been so critical in the pandemic. Research showed that one of the key factors attributable to the higher rates of COVID in Black and brown communities was housing. These projects highlighted today make renting affordable for the average Newark resident. Making renting more affordable is important for another reason. So renters don't have to stay renters. Families now can save to one day to become homeowners. There is a crisis in affordable rental housing, but there is also a crisis in Black home ownership. Our partnership with the city to advance affordable home ownership is important. Black home ownership is at an all-time low, nationwide and in Newark. The National Urban League reports that we have the lowest home ownership rates for Black families that we have seen in over 50 years, not since the Fair Housing Act was enacted, not since the housing crisis in 2008. Where everyone is seeing an economic recovery, we are continuing to see declines in the Black home ownership rate, and that is something to also raise alarm about. And we think that's something everyone should be focused on. Many young families want to purchase home to buy into the American dream, but they find themselves blocked out of home ownership because of an overheated market, high interest rate, high prices, cash buyers. We need to wake up and listen to the people. By not voting, they are voting. By not voting, they are saying they are not invested in the future. By not voting, they are saying they are spectators and not stakeholders. By not voting, they are saying they don't own the future in their communities. So the Urban League builds affordable housing, but more important, we focus on building communities and wealth to empower communities and change lives. Let's celebrate these projects and celebrate the city and the mayor's leadership because they are critical to addressing the housing need in the city. But let's also move in unison to remove the systematic barriers to to building wealth and home ownership in our community. Thank you.
Thanks, Vivian. And for those that are curious, the Fairmont Commons project is in our West Ward, and it's a significant investment by Mayor Baraka. And we're really looking to transform vacant and blighted parcels out there with the help of our partners like Vivian Cox Frazier and the Urban League. So next, I'd like to bring up Craig Livingston, who is the managing partner of Exact Capital. As you may know, Exact Capital has been doing work in New York, but also here in New Jersey, and also up and down the East Coast. As a majority Black-led development company, we're proud that they're here in the city of Newark, and they are here helping us with the property that's right behind me. And so I'm going to have Craig come up, tell you a little bit about his company and what they're going to do here with Affordable Newark.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a great day for the city of Newark. I am extremely proud to be here, and I'd like to first say thank you to Mayor Baraka for his vision in identifying this particular parcel and these properties as targets that needed transformation and renovation years ago, and we're happy to have worked with Director Ladd and the Baraka administration to bring this day to fruition today. And just a note about me, my name is Craig Livingston. I am the managing partner of Exact Capital Group. We're a vertically integrated real estate concern. We own, develop, and build for our own portfolio. We have a portfolio of about 5,000 units in several different states, but we're heavily concentrated here in the Northeast. So it is with particular pride that we're here today to commemorate this occasion. As many of you know, this development, these buildings here have a storied past and existed for a long time in subpar conditions, and unfortunately members of this community lived here in these conditions and until the building was shut down. And in 2017, Exact Capital took ownership of these buildings with the intention to renovate them into clean, green, affordable housing that would be affordable to Newark residents at various levels of the income spectrum. So we have 28 units that will be let at 30% of AMI. We have another 47 units that will be let at 80% of AMI or lower. And we are also very proud to leverage the presence of existing community institutions like the Shani Baraka Center, where we are striking a partnership and we can make our units available to residents who have worked with the center and have gone through the process of healing and are looking for affordable housing. We're very happy to be able to provide that. Now, you know, we are a certified MWBE company, and I have to just give a special accolade to Mayor Baraka for the way in which he's focused on MWBEs, because there's an ecosystem that occurs with MWBE companies. The data is very clear that whenever a minority developer is awarded a project like this, we have a much higher propensity to spend money with other companies, be they law firms, plumbers, architects, electricians, masons, that are also owned by minority owners. And those companies, in turn, hire people who look like me. And so the way in which Mayor Baraka has prioritized MWB involvement has a lot of second and third order benefits, because that $20 million is going to be shared within this MWBE ecosystem. I have a contrasting story, and I think why I want to call this out and pay special acknowledgement to it is in 2020, when the pandemic first hit. In New York City, the former mayor spent $3.2 billion of public money on an emergency basis. That means no RFP, everything could be sole sourced. $3.2 billion of taxpayer money, and less than 1% of it was spent with black companies, black and brown companies. So, Mayor Baraka, thank you for being thoughtful. We truly do appreciate your leadership and your vision, and we're happy to be here to make a difference. Today's a wonderful day for the city of Newark, and Exact Capital is going to play their part. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Greg. We would now like to bring up David Trout. David Trout is not only the director of the law department at Rutgers, he is also a director of the Climb department, which is I'll get it right, David, the Center on Law, Inequity, and Metropolitan Equity. So it's the Center on Law, Inequity, and Metropolitan Equity. And David most recently had two publications released that really has helped us shape our policies, our investments here in the city. Not only the most recent report, Who Owns Newark, that the mayor talked about last week, about how we can continue to have our community organizations, our developers of color be part of the wealth growing here in the city. But also previously last year, he released a report, Homes Beyond Reach, which talked about the need that we have here in the city. So David?
Thank you so much, Deputy Mayor. Good afternoon, everybody. Nice to see you, Mayor. So first of all, just want to clarify. I'm a professor of law at the law school in Newark at Rutgers. I'm also the director of Climb, and I do want you to know exactly what Climb stands for. Climb is the Center on Law, Inequality, and Metropolitan Equity. And there's a reason behind every one of those words that really goes to the heart of why I guess I'm here today. But what we engage in at this center, at the law school, is publicly engaged scholarship. We believe that as an anchor institution in the city of Newark, we have a real responsibility to use what resources and expertise exist in the university to help to bring answers to some of the most difficult questions of structural inequality and systemic racism. And so that's what we dedicate our research to. And we've been very fortunate to have a partner in the city of Newark, in local government generally, and in the Baraka administration. So I'm especially happy to be here today because this announcement really shows the connection between a variety of partners and the kind of work that we tried to do in order to enable policymaking and what has actually occurred. In Homes Beyond Reach, we did a study of a problem that everybody knew existed. Everybody knew that Newark, like a lot of places, faced an affordability crisis. But they didn't know exactly the scale of that crisis. They didn't know actually how many units were missing. They didn't know what people could actually afford to pay. They didn't know what it might take to close that gap. And so that was the set of questions that we went after. And what we found was deeply disturbing. We found that in the city of Newark, a city of renters, almost 80% of residents, that household income was close to about $33,000 a year, which is low income. And it meant, therefore, that the typical metrics for what it constitutes affordable housing were wrong. That if you looked at 60% or 80% of area median income, you were actually subsidizing housing that was too expensive, that was out of reach for the typical Newark household. So you had to scale it down to meet people where they were. Housing is everything for people. Housing stability is really the essence of family stability, of workplace stability. It affects child welfare. It affects people's access to schools. It affects people's access to health care. It affects people's experience of their lives without so much stress that they can't figure out what their next move is going to be. So the first thing you want to try to do for people is help them to housing stability, and you can't do it unless you know what's missing and where the gaps are. And so we arrived at a figure in this report of 16,000 units shy. 16,000. This is a problem, therefore, that's been accumulating over many years. And at this point, that's the hole that the city is in. And it's going to take dramatic policies. It's going to take real ambition. And fortunately, we have that. And today is an example. So I'm really proud to be asked to speak to you all for this moment today, because it is really rare to put in this kind of work all of the work that we do, that the Equitable Growth Advisory Commission does, that the Newark Community Development Network does, that our various partners across community-based organizations, and of course, that our colleagues, our allies in city government and in the mayor's office do to solve these difficult, intractable problems that have really besieged a lot of cities in this country, many cities in this state, but that we've been living with in Newark for a long time. So this is a good day. Thank you all for having me. Thank you, Mayor Baraka.
Thanks, David. Appreciate the words and also some of the context. At this time, I'd like to ask our Council Vice President and Central Ward Council Member, LaMonica McIver, to come to the podium. I will just do one sentence of introduction, which is to say Council Vice President McIver is the only woman currently serving in our City Council. She displays incredible grit and integrity and helps keep us honest when it comes to all development, especially affordable housing. So thank you, Councilmember McIver.
Is it still morning? Oh, it's 12 o'clock on the dot. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure for me to be here. Some people looked at me like, oh, you're here in the South today. This is actually the Central Ward. And people don't know that, but I always say it's on the borderline of the South. And so I call it South Central, Central South, however you want to look at it. But it's a pleasure for me to be here today as we continue our good work in ensuring that the city of Newark has affordable housing. We've been doing it, so this is not new today. We have different levels of how we tackle it here in the city of Newark. And to be here today to hear today's announcement and to be with you all to actually lay down what we're going to be doing in our other list of properties, not just here in the Central Ward, throughout the entire city of affordable housing, is an amazing day. It's really a celebration. I always say when we come to this thing, we're so serious and quiet, but really it's a celebration when you have a local city basically investing $20 million in affordable housing for low-income families. It's a celebration. That's right. Go ahead and clap it up. There's no mayor, there's no city doing this, and definitely we have to give honor and kudos where it is due. And so it's a pleasure to be here. This building that is in the back of me, which me and the mayor have just been staring at, we were taking a bet if it's going to be knocked down or not. It has a history of just sadness, a history of issues that we all know oh so well here in the city of Newark. I remember when we closed this building. I remember when we had some issues with some of the areas up the street. And so today, to be here today announcing that we are going to rehab this building, make it better, make it affordable for people to come here and live here in the city of Newark, it's a great day. And I'm proud and excited about that. And I'm so happy to be a representative of this particular area and be able to see it happen underneath my time. As Professor Trout said, it's so good to see you, Professor Trout. It seems like I've been looking at you from shoulder up for the past 2 years. So I almost didn't know who you were. It's a pleasure to be serving as a member of the Equitable Growth Commission and all of the work that we've put in to get to this point. It's one thing to not know what we need here in the city of Newark, but we know what we need. And we're doing what we can on the local level to get to where we need to be. So I'm proud of that. People see, reports and articles, and they look at it as a thing to point fingers at us and laugh at us. But no, we're not laughing here in the city of Newark. Our mayor is not laughing. We are taking action. We're taking those reports and we're actually turning it into real action, to real deliverables. So I'm proud of the city. I'm proud of our mayor, and it's just an honor and a pleasure to be here. So I'll take my seat now. I just want to thank our deputy mayor and all of the community partners that are here, all of the developers that are here who are making our plan for more affordable housing really come true here in the city of Newark. So thank you all.
Thanks, Council Vice President McIver. And our next speaker is our Mayor Rajay Baraka, who will be continuing to lead us for the next 4 years. So I know many of us are excited about that. And I know, Mayor, after working for you for 3 years, you do not like introductions. But I will just say you're a champion. You're a champion for affordable housing. You've been one since day one. And at this time, could you please come to the podium and give your remarks? Thanks.
Good afternoon. So first, just thank the Deputy Mayor and entire EHD team and all of the folks that are here today. Obviously, everybody from all of the developers and nonprofits. Want to thank Vivian Cox-Frazier from Urban League and the work that they've been doing in this community. All of the reports and information that we've been getting from the Equitable Growth Commission, from Dr. Trout, and the climb report that we've been getting, we are moving on it. These are not problems that happened a year ago or 2 years ago. These are problems that have existed in this city and major cities like Newark for decades. The problem is that most of the time these things are left unabated and they get worse and worse as the years go on. And we know anecdotally what's wrong, but empirically we have very few opportunities to put our hands on the real material issues that are going on in our community. And what Rutgers allows us to do is to actually put face to the things that we know, inherently is happening in our city, or things that we feel anecdotally that is going on in our communities every day. They give us an opportunity to address them, not ideologically, not like on paper, stuff we give speeches about or on the corner. It is actually an opportunity to put policy in action and use resources that we have, very little resources, by the way, that we have to invest in changing people's lives, trajectory in this city. 30% of the AMI is about families of 3 or 4 that make about $33,000, $34,000 a year. And that's the folks that we're targeting, right? So we invest $20 million in developers who do that. And most developers, especially large ones, don't want to do that because, it doesn't fit their bottom line. It doesn't fit what they're trying to do. It's easier to develop downtown because you can get the rents to pay for the investment or the loans that you've taken out from the investment institutions and the banks. It's easy to pay those back. And so the return on that investment makes sense for you to invest downtown Newark. When we want you to invest in communities like this, a lot of folks get timid about it because you need a significant amount of subsidy to do so. And we know that. And so we're trying to get the federal, the state, and the local government to begin to create subsidy around developing affordable housing, right? So it's not just people, we need affordable housing, and we put up a sign. You actually have to have policy and practice to do it. There's one thing to say, we need affordable housing is not enough. There's another thing to actually find the people who have the opportunity to invest in affordable housing and make that happen, right? So all of the developers here, we want to thank you. We appreciate the work that you're doing. The city is, the $20 million is, we know it's going to go a long way, as was stated. The how that money is spread out through the community and through minority. I don't like to say minority in Newark because in Newark we're not the minority. It goes out between black and brown developers and business owners, and is not only like very real. I see it every day when people come to me and say that they got this job or they was a part of this development or this subcontractor or this contractor because of something that we did in terms of development around here that don't usually make the news or TV or people's Facebook pages. But ultimately, there are people who are lives are better because we've invested money in this way. So I'm excited about what's going to happen. I'm excited about what's going to happen back here, by the way, too. I've been waiting to get this thing developed for a long time. And we got to talk to the guys who own this property over here to get them to do something with that as well. I'm gonna keep being on them. But we want to redevelop, repurpose, transform this community. By the way, the community I walked up and down, born and raised up the street on Clinton Avenue and 10th Street, walked up and down this community. It's my neighborhood. I'm not a stranger to this neighborhood. I didn't just show up here because, I went to college and read a few books and now I'm like political. You know, I actually walked these streets out, you know, when the milk bar was right there. You understand? And people that are old enough know where the milk bar was at. You know, so at the end of the day, it is a pleasure to be able to see development happening that I'm actually a part of in this community. So I can't wait to see it, and prayerfully it begins to get everybody else to do different things around this neighborhood as well, and the development changes in this community to serve the people who are average Newarkers, as Vivian Cox Frazier put it so clearly and poignantly. Average Newarkers can afford to live here. The other part of it is that and this has nothing to do with the development side, we have to make sure that we raise people's wages so that the average Newarker is not making $34,000 a year, right? So that's another part of it too, that we also have to address as well. So we you know, both sides of it we are working on, but just glad to be here today. Looking forward to the rest of the projects, and this is not the last of it. Every opportunity we get to get more funding, we're going to invest it in making sure we reach our goal of about 6,000 new affordable units in the next couple of years in the city of Newark, which is a lot, but is a ways away from 16,000, which is what we actually need, which means we're going to need the help of the federal government and the housing authority and all these other people as well. So thank you, and congratulations to all the developers today. So.
Thanks, Mayor. At this time, we'd like to share all of the names of the projects that were selected through the competitive process that we did over the last year. I'm going to ask each of them also to come up and stand with the mayor. If I could have the council vice president come up as well. Let's start with Oak Towers. So we'll start with Exact Capital. I know, Craig, you're here. Let's go with 450 Ferry, which is related to the Ballantyne site in the East Ward. I know you're here. Yes, if you could come up, Sherwood. And we can, as the council vice president said, this is a celebration. And I do what the council vice president says, especially right now. Okay, let's go to Halsey Central. I saw, Sari, I know you're part of that as part of a joint venture. L&M, I thought they were able to come. Okay, they might not be able to be here. Let's move to Thomas Street. This is 184, 194 Thomas Street. Frank and the team, come on up, team. This one is exciting too. Clinton Hill Family Homes. I saw Katim. And I don't know if I saw anyone from New Jersey Community Capital, but if you're here, please join us as well. Also, Bergen Street Family Living. I saw Chris, RWJ Barnabas and Penrose. We can move to Fairmont Commons. Vivian Cox Frazier. It's also RPM. Please come up. West Side Villas, Ascension. And we have a few projects that weren't able to join us today, so I'll just name them quickly. Arrow Senior Living, which is in the North Ward. It was one of our projects we were able to select in the North Ward. And also, there's also a project at Residence at St. Martin's of Tours, which was Domus Corporation. So they weren't able to join us, but please, let's celebrate everybody, all of the affordable Newark.